Everyone, you are watching Rob's MetalWorks, and we are continuing our support of the 10-year anniversary of Austin band Dead Earth Politics. Brings me great pleasure to welcome the main man, Devin, lead vocalist of the band. Sir, how you doing? Welcome back to the program.
I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for having us here at the DEP headquarters.
Yes, the DEP headquarters, currently under construction. By way of us really not having anywhere else to go, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, it's a great opportunity to come up here and chat with you at a very special time for the band, Dead Earth Politics. And I know that DEP has been at the heart of who you are for many, many years, since I first met you back in 2010, I think.
Like 12 years ago. back when I had hair, gorgeous locks.
Rick said, "Why did Devin cut his hair?" I said, "I don't know. You ask him."
Male pattern baldness.
There you go, Rick. Rick doesn't want to accept his own case, but...
Oh, well, see, Rick can sport it. I ended up looking like an emaciated Ron Jeremy. Again, just from here up. Yeah, I'm all Irish.
Well, it's a good thing that it's not your looks that people are attracted to within Dead Earth Politics. It's your killer-ass voice, man. And now as the band nears, you know, its 10-year anniversary, definitely a reflection of that is the longevity, and now I think even some of the success that Dead Earth Politics is finally coming into here in the latter part of the past few years.
Yeah, the last couple of years have been a crazy whirlwind. We've always been an independent band, but that doesn't by any means mean that we do everything by ourselves. We need help. Any band that tells you they don't need help is not long for this world. But the last 3 years, especially, starting with the release of Queen of Steel, it's been nuts. Well, actually, a little bit even before that, when we started playing with Tim and writing things a little bit differently. All of our musical, I guess, interests really started to meld into what we were writing, rather than just kind of picking from tub A and tub B, which is sort of what we were doing before. Not to speak ill of our first few years, but now we're at a level where it keeps our interest, and everybody keeps challenging everybody else. And I think that's what makes for interesting, well, music in general, as well as metal, especially metal though nowadays.
I think we've kind of touched upon that in the last couple of conversations I've had with other members, is that, you know, DEP is definitely at a whole new level now, as far as, you know, the intricacy of the music and how people are working together. That could be attributed to just our growth as human beings and people. Oh, yeah. But before we start talking about that, and we will talk about that, think back. I want you to think back a little bit to the beginnings of Dead Earth Politics. And when you look back and think back at that time, because none of all the fruition that we have now would not have come about if it wasn't for the beginnings of it. So when you think back about that time, what do you think about? What makes you smile or grin?
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, where we are right now is because we maintain, when Ernie was in the band, and even when we had Paulie in the band, when I auditioned, then the guys picked somebody else. The core of our ambition was to write good music, or at least music that we thought was good, whatever. It wasn't, okay, that's a good riff, but it doesn't sound like, you know, it doesn't sound like this. So even though it's good, let's shelve it, which I think a lot of bands do. You know, I know I did it in older projects of mine. Well, that's good, but it doesn't fit this set of parameters. And I think maintaining that idea from point A to whatever fucking point we're at right now is why we're able to do what we do, and in my opinion, be successful. You know, we have the conviction behind everything that we do. We believe in every product that we put out, and as long as we maintain that and we just continue to make great art, I think that we'll continue to grow, and that's all you could ask for, especially at an independent level. You know.
Well, I think that's one of the things that myself and many fans across the region have really come to love about Dead Earth Politics is that you guys have just put so much effort and professionalism into everything that you do. Not only, the products that you're putting out and the music, but, even things that you do on the back end. And people like us who work in the industry respect that and enjoy that. I mean, that's why I'm up here to work with you and support you. So definitely one of the milestones of the DEP history was your first official release, aside from the demo, The Weight of Poseidon, kind of a full-length release. I remember back in 2010, I came out of retirement to support that record.
You did, and we were going to quit. And then you were like, oh, I'm coming out of, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you're coming out of retirement, we can't go into retirement. It would be awkward. It's like, yeah, we can't come to the prom wearing the same dress, Rob.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, no, that's, and that was really exciting. For me personally, that was really exciting. That would be, I've been in about 3 bands. Before I joined DEP, I had stopped working on music with other people for probably about 5 years. So I never had, and that was before the digital age. I remember we were all excited. We had a little 4-track. It's like, oh shit, and then you can bounce it, and it's like you have 24 tracks, even though the other 20 sound like shit now. But now it's like you have a whole orchestra thing. But then the digital age came up, and things got more affordable as far as demos. And then Josh Woodhouse with Droplink Productions came out and recorded Weight of Poseidon for us, and I was like, we sound like a band.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. And so that was not only a milestone for the band, but for me personally, I was like, I have an album that I can show for myself. I was really, really stoked about that.
That's a great piece of work. I mean, I still listen to it to this day. I mean, 1013 is one of my favorite DEP songs of all time.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, 1013 was definitely one of my favorites because, and I actually didn't write the lyrics to that song. That song came pre-assembled when I came in, but it was about something written about historical events in a historical time that I already absolutely loved. So it was very easily grafted onto my psyche and my soul when I came aboard.
So nothing but great respect for the history of Dead Earth Politics and the contributions that Ernie made as a guitarist. Now the evolution of the band continues in 2015 as you near your 10-year anniversary. There has been some change. Okay, you have new guitar players. We just finished chatting with Aaron, and we also kind of discussed this is a brand new band, and it seems like we're at a whole new level now musically.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we just talk about when we switched things up a couple of years ago, I sat there and I was listening to what Tim was bringing to the table, and then I was like, I can't do what I do and follow along with this. There's no possible way. And I like growling and screaming. It's fine. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm either gonna take this all the way, or I'm gonna get fired. So, but let's try applying some melody, and then we started applying some harmony, and then I was just fucking around, and I started doing those. We call it punching the grapefruit. Yes, I haven't seen it. Let's fuck around with that, and. We haven't been laughed off stage yet that I'm aware of. I don't really pay attention to that so much. So it stuck, and we're like, all right. So now I have all these different colors on my palette that we can work with, and it's fun for me to come in when Tim is writing a song or Aaron's bringing in a song. Incidentally, Aaron's writing this really badass song that I can't wait to. But did he? It's like, okay. What am I going to do? And I have these different areas of my instrument that I can choose from. It's not just one go-to. So it's each song. It's like, you remember the old school albums where it's like, okay, this Megadeth album. Okay, so this is the slow song. This is the epic song. This is the angry thrashy song, and you don't get that a whole lot anymore. Aaron and Tim and Will and Mason are phenomenal musicians, and they can find the drama. And because it's that tension that you want to bring in, and I'm all about drama. That's where the nut is. When you got that fucking twist and you got, oh yeah, that's yes. You know, it's not all just one fucking level, and that's what we're doing now, and that's why I'm really excited. I mean, I love Queen of Steel. I love listening to that album. I hate listening to my voice, but for some reason that album is cool for me to listen to, and Men Become Gods. But the new shit that they're writing is even beyond all of that stuff. Right. I'm totally stoked about where we're going.
So also, you know, you always have I love to see that you've released new music in 2014 with Queen of Steel, 2015 with Men Become Gods. Now next year we will see the third component of this trilogy of EPs next year. So we're excited to see that. What can we expect from the latest EP?
That's a very good question. You'll have to get the EP to find out, because we don't even know yet. We're in the process of writing.
I thought you said you already sent it to me.
No, I don't even send it. What? I don't know. Either you're drinking too much or I'm not drinking enough. I don't know what's going on here. No, but the stuff that we actually have so much more stuff in the works than I think in the history of the band where we've ever had before we were recording. Like way to Poseidon, we had maybe 9 or 10 songs, and then from that we chose 8. For this EP, if we're going for 4 or 5 songs on this EP, and we're probably going to have about 8 to 10 songs to pick from. So we're going to have a huge amount of work that we can sift through, which is, creatively, it's daunting, but it's also exciting, because that's just how quickly the ideas are coming out. Everybody's a musical contributor, so it's like, oh, okay, all right. Sometimes you have to go, okay, hold on a second. All right, let's go back to this before we forget it. We do that a lot, actually. Then we forget the other thing, and then it just goes quick.
And as a band and as a musician who's been around for a decade now, really working hard, we laugh and we're jovial, but we both know being part of this industry is tough work. There's going to be people out there, musicians out there, who will see this interview, and if there was any hard lesson learned throughout the past decade, supporting and driving Dead Earth Politics to continue, I mean, what do you feel that would be, or what lesson learned would you share with people out there?
Man, I would be doing a disservice by saying there's just one lesson. The biggest thing, I think, though, is, and this is a hump that I had to get over, that I still fall into, and it's all about perspective, but if you're in music, and especially rock or metal, do it because you love it. Don't do it because you want to be successful, because chances are you won't be successful in the financial terms of success. Right. I mean, it happens. Right now, I consider success breaking even. Financially breaking, yeah. I mean, if you want to get into,
there's so much success in other components of it.
Well, no, exactly. That's why I stick on the financial, because it's really hard sometimes when you're doing things as a business and you're like,
Unfortunately, you can't live off gratification.
Yeah, I have tried. It makes a piss poor porridge. I tell you what. But yeah, dude, just do it because you love it. If you're playing in front of 2 people, play like you're in front of 2,000 people. Right. You're there to be bigger than life. So now, this fall, we will be approaching in October. Everyone out there, Dead Earth Politics will be celebrating its 10-year anniversary in October at the Dirty Dog. How do you feel about the 10-year anniversary coming up? I'm stoked. We've got a killer lineup going up, and I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with Ernie again. Ernie, at least at this point in time, during this interview, or not during this interview, but at the time of this interview, Ernie has agreed to play a couple of songs with us, so that'll be a blast. And probably a couple of other, I'm hoping for a couple of interesting visitors.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
cool.
It'll be awesome.
We're going to be out there in support of it. We're looking forward to it. I mean, obviously, 10 years is a milestone. when you think about, all the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into this band. So what do you think about after the 10-year anniversary is done, looking ahead? What do you foresee for the future of Dead Earth Politics?
I see just continuing on and evolving, both on the back end as well as the musically. It's really hard to say, dude. 2 years ago, I would not have guessed that we would have played with Down, that we'd be going to Barbecue, that we would have been on Housecore Horror Fest 2 times in a row, that we've been #1 metal band in Austin forever. So who the hell knows? I mean, it's just I'm amped up, and if we go out, we're going out with a bang. But I don't see that happening down the pipeline at all.
Well, great, Devin. Thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts with us and the people out there. Any last words that you want to share with fans or people in the region about Dead Earth Politics and the 10-year anniversary?
Just get out, check out every band that's on the bill. Come early, stay late, and if you can't make it out to a local show anywhere, wherever you are. Support your local bands, because they're all local before they become national. I promise.
Remember, everyone, you saw the man, Devin, lead vocalist of the band Dead Earth Politics. The 10-year anniversary is right around the corner. By the time you see this, be sure to look it up online. It's going to be at the Dirty Dog. Come out and celebrate with us. Dead Earth Politics right here on Rob's MetalWorks.